Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're continuing with the series of videos that we're putting out. We're trying to present for you guys the top 10 cards of each rarity in the standard rotation that we have right now. So today's video is about the current best cards that we see with the rares. So the top 10 cards. As I mentioned in previous videos, these cards are coming out in no particular order. They're kind of just in the order that I put them up on my setup. And one note also is that we want to just mention that we're not putting out any cards on this list from the Phyrexia 1 series. That's the latest series that just came out, and you know we haven't gotten the chance to collect a whole lot of them. We haven't seen a whole lot of them in games, and you know it'd be kind of it would be kind of bad for us to put it out there saying, hey, this is a great card, and you know we don't know anything about that card. We haven't played with it or nothing, right? So we're not going to do that. We're going to just try to keep it with the cards that we know. All of these cards, of course, came out right before the Phyrexia 1 series, and yeah, so here we go, the Phyrexia 1 video. If you want to see the top 10 wishlist cards, you can take a look at the channel, but this one doesn't have any of those. Okay, so enjoy the video. As we get started, I want to show this one here. This is Teferi, the hero of Dominaria. This is a good card. It says here, if this support has a heroism emblem, when you draw a card, exile a opposing card at random. Alright, so that's pretty awesome because we'll draw a card every single turn, right? And basically if your opponent puts down a card, you'll be able to exile it, right? So it really locks down the battlefield for you. Now, how do you get the heroism emblem? You gotta use this ability here. You gotta bring it up to 8. If you can bring the shields up to 8, then you'll be able to hit that heroism ability, right? You'll be able to draw 3 cards, put the heroism emblem on there, and of course, because you drew the cards, you'll be able to exile an opposing creature or opposing support, something at random. And what's really good is you can also draw cards with this one here, so you can power it up in a very usable way. Right, it says draw a card. It gains mana equal to the number of white and blue gems on the board up to 10. So that's really helpful. Great card. You can lock down your opponent with this card. Good stuff. Alright, so here's the next card I want to point out. It's Milefield Researcher. If you've watched this channel, you probably have seen this card a few times, right? This is a great card. And what you'll notice here is at the beginning of your turn, if this has got 7 or more shields, everything in your hand is going to be free. All of the cards in your hand are going to have full mana. Well, how do we bring it up to 7? We just use this ability here, draw a card. That would be great. You have some defensive abilities here, which of course helps you to disable opposing creatures. That's nice, but really the big thing is once you get it up to 7, you'll be able to basically pay for everything in your hand for free. That's going to be great. Alright, on to the next card, Unnatural Growth. This is a good card. I like this card a lot. Basically, at the beginning of combat on your turn, each creature you control will be twice as strong. Will have twice the amount of power, right? You'll be able to do twice the amount of damage to your opponent. You know, there's not a lot that you need to say about a card like this. It just gives you a lot of strength. Good card here. Alright, here's the next one. I like this card a lot. This is one of probably the best card when it comes to converting mana. Right? Salvala, Heart of the Wilds. The important part here is it says at the beginning of your turn, you may have this creature gain, can't attack, and can't block until the beginning of your next turn. I suggest you do that. Here's the reason. It says if you do, convert X gems to green, right? X is equal to the greatest power amongst creatures that you control. So I'll put this card with creatures like Gaia's Revenge, right? It's got 16 for power, and then you convert 16 gems. If you use those gems to pay off other cards that are gonna make Gaia's Revenge stronger or any other card stronger, maybe you get it up to 30, you'll be able to convert 30 gems to green. And this will happen every single turn. It's gonna fill your hand with mana. It's just a great card. Okay, here's another card. This card is probably underrated in the sense that it doesn't really, it doesn't stand out, maybe. It doesn't have these great, tremendous game finishing abilities, but it has a couple of things here that are just super useful, right? Reach and Death Touch. If you have those together, basically you'll be able to block everything that comes at you, and you'll be able to kill everything that comes at you. What I like to do with this one is I like to put it on a creature and then maybe see if you can get first strike for that creature, or prevent damage, right? Because that will keep your creature alive and it'll kill everything else that comes after it. Excellent, excellent card. Here's the next card, kind of in the same mold. Rem Corollis, the Stalwart Slayer. This is a good card to pair with the Witch's Web, the one that I just showed, right? You can put the previous card on any creature. It's going to get the reach and it's going to get reach and Death Touch, and this card is going to protect that card so that it doesn't do you don't get any damage done to you, because you'll get prevent damage. While on the battlefield, your creatures gain prevent damage, so that's really, really strong. I like to pair this card also with creatures that can block, right? So like creatures that have reach or defender or vigilance, this card will protect them really, really well. Alright, here's the next card I want to talk about. This card is definitely a top 10 card when it comes to rares. This is Tovalar, Dire Overlord. The thing you want to know about this card is that when it's on this side here, it's pretty dangerous, right? It says at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may drain all the mana from your hand. If you do, target werewolf or wolf that you control will get XO'd, right? So basically the amount of mana that you drain from your hand, you'll be able to use that as a buff to strengthen other creatures. So that's going to be really, really good. It's going to help you. It's going to be real strong. What I like to do is I like to fill the hand with lots of mana and then drain it. And then hopefully this card's got double strike or something like that, and it just becomes a game ender. Alright, so great card here. Definitely a top 10. Here's another card I think belongs in the top 10. It's Undercover Operative. This is a really good card, especially if you have like maybe a green deck that you're using. Again, like Gaia's Revenge, right? This card will reinforce that creature and give it a shield counter, so it protects it a little bit. If you use it with Gaia's Revenge, it's going to become a creature that has a power of 32, right? So that's pretty nasty. If you can use this card multiple times, that would be great. I would also suggest using it on creatures that will block, because you'll make your creature stronger and you'll give it the shield counter so that it can protect itself when it blocks. It won't get hurt, right? Great card there. Here's another excellent card, Multani's Harmony. This is just a great card that can be used to buff creatures, buff them real big and real strong and real fast. It says here, target creature you control gains Leyline. Leyline over here is the description. It says when you match 3 or more green gems for the first time during your turn, this creature gets XX. X, of course, is the number of green gems on the board. So you can see how that becomes really, really strong, right? It's a great card. Alright, here's the last out of all of the top 10 cards for the rares. You know, this is a good card. It says here, gain an extra swap. Your creatures gain double strike and trample until the end of your turn, and then your opponent's creatures are reinforced. There's this Cleave ability here, alright? Basically, if you pay this extra amount, this 6, you'll have this ability instead, right? So you'll gain an extra swap, and your creatures will get double strike trample until the end of turn, and then your opponent's creatures will not be reinforced. This is a great card because, you know, if you can put double strike on a creature, that's just great, right? You should try to do that as often as you can. It just loads up the damage. But also, you know, you get double strike, but you also gain an extra swap, which, you know, when you look at like the best cards that are in a set, I'd choose a card just because it gives double strike, or I'd choose a card just because it has the extra swap. But this card gives you both, right? So that just makes it an incredible card. Alright, so that's the top 10. I want to talk about these cards here. These are the honorable mentions. Let's start with Hiveheart Shaman. It says when this creature attacks, move the first card with the land subtype from your library into play under your control, then convert 3 gems to loyalty. Then create a Golgari insect token. that gets XX, and X, of course, is the number of loyalty gems. So you kind of can see that this is going to get to help you to bring down land, but it's going to help you to get these Golgari insect tokens, and they're going to be big, right? So excellent card here. Here's the next one. I think is just outside of the top 10. Tezaret, the Cruel Machinist. And you kind of see this one. This is, you know, a good card in the sense where you can draw a card. If it's an artifact, you gain 5 mana. That's nice, but I like this ability here. Artifact cards in your hand gain full mana, right? So if you use this in a deck that has a ton of those artifact cards, you can just load them up every time, right? Tons and tons of free cards. Excellent stuff. I also like this with this ability here. Artifact creatures you control have the base power and toughness of 5/5. I like to use this card with Thopters, right? Because Thopters, you can make a lot of them, and pretty quickly, right? With the hanger back, I think it's the hanger back walker or something like that. You can use that card every time you match gems. You'll be able to put a Thopter out. And let's say you got a stack of 20 Thopters. You hit this ability, each of those Thopters will be 5/5. And right there, you got a creature that's 100/100. So very strong. This is a card that you can revolve an entire deck around. Good stuff. Here's the last one from the honorable mentions, the Mana Gorger Hydra. You know, I like this one because green a lot of times is known for gem changing. And if, you know, we don't have this now. We don't have a card that lets you draw tons and tons of cards just consistently. But if you had a card like that, right, I think we've seen some in the past in different sets that have already gone to Legacy, that you can make a nice cycle, like a loop, right? And every time you cast a spell that maybe changes gems, converts gems to help pay for other things, this creature is going to get 1/1. And you can buff this creature really fast. I would definitely like to see more cards that allow you to do the draw, so you can do that and, you know, put out some really strong decks that way. Anyway, guys, hope you guys liked the video. Like and subscribe, put some comments down, let us know what's in your top 10. All right, let us know how you use these cards here that we have. Okay, with that being said, good gaming, guys.